one of the things about One Rental at a Time that I love that we have built is we built a community of go-givers, and we have multiple folks on the channel that maybe service the same product, aka mortgage. They all do very, very different things. We often joke that we go to Uncle Steve when nobody else can get the deal done. Let's talk to Mr. Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing well, man. I remember you back at our Vegas event. You're up there with the Convoy Home Loans and Matt the mortgage guy, and people are asking questions about deal structure. And more than once, the guys went, "Uncle Steve." That's an
I
Uncle
think
Steve
I think
loan.
Steve will do it. Yeah, Uncle Steve will do it. So,
There you go. There you go.
um,
Well,
but
let's
that's yeah.
yeah, let's talk. Let's do the marketing thing so we're both not in trouble. I didn't forget,
I
and
was
then we'll
just
get
gonna
into
say, man,
we'll get into it.
maybe being up in the frozen tundra of Europe might have frozen your brain. Anyway, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get another good one going.
Yeah, one of the things that I really love about what Velocity Mortgage does is it really serves a need for properties that are, I think we're having a lot of pain coming. I had a conversation with Jonathan Twomley this morning
Mm-hmm.
where we anticipate that some multifamily assets are going to trade for up to a 50% discount. And that's because
Wow.
they were bought with bridge debt, 3-year loans, just bad
Right.
assumptions. And this is going to be a large cascading that's going to end with assets sold at significant discounts. And the reason I think Velocity Mortgage is going to really help the audience is you might be able to get into some deals before they go to foreclosure because you're going to see a lot of owners who are trying to do wish pricing and things of that nature, and they're not going to be able to trade
Right.
at with bank loans. But if you can have a conversation with a motivated seller and you could do a 50-40-10 where maybe the seller gets their price or near their price, but they hold back the equity 40%, maybe even don't even do interest. You just do okay, great. I'll give you a real example. We talked about this with Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million apartment building. It could be 10 million, whatever. Given that we're going to see a significant haircut in value and discount, they're going to try to sell it at $1 million because they paid $1 million. But it can't because right now property is already down 20%, so it's now worth 800. That owner is not willing to, take a loss. They need to refi out. They can't because they're going to do a 70% loan on 800, which is 560. They have to write a check for 140 grand. They're not interested. It's just all kinds of ugliness. But if you happen to be in a situation where there's enough equity, you could give an owner their price and just structure the deal where you peel back their equity and make it due later. I'm not even talking about having an interest rate. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'll give you 800 or whatever. But
Yeah.
your 200 grand, it's not due for a decade
Sure.
or 5 years or whatever.
10-year
You can get
balloon.
really, yeah, just a balloon, right? You can get really
Yeah.
creative with these 50-40-10s, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, I've already come up with a lot of different, structures. I mean, not only LT or CLTV, well, LTV in a sense, because the seller has been carrying anywhere from 40 down to 15, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes even more. I did a 42, 48, 10, believe it or not.
Wow.
So it's just however you could structure so that it makes sense for everybody and that hopefully you can even cash flow with 10% down. So it's it's something that just has a little bit more, complexity to it, but if you can have a good, meaningful conversation just to go over some of the details and just some base information to kind of see if this would fit. I don't mind being a sounding board, and that's usually how this works, where somebody calls in and we go over the details and I plug my calculator and we start to just crunch numbers to compare. Okay, well, financing based upon me doing X amount, seller carrying Y amount. How's that apply to Z rent, and then we kind of see if it works. But more often than not, man, it does. It's just takes some time with the right scenario, but it's fun. I've been doing a couple of them already. I put out the information as far as the pricing. Now, right now, it's in the negotiation stage with them and the sellers. But yeah, I've got a few in the works right now.
Yeah. The 50-40-10, the 90% CLTV it's the Swiss Army knife. I think it's going to be the most popular loan product probably in 2025, 2026. Jonathan and I think that the real discounts, the real pain comes in 26 and 27.
Right.
But that means the creative investors could buy in 25 if they could structure deals. Because some of these owners, they can't sell with what's going on. But if you can structure a deal where they get some of the goodness later,
Right.
It could be a win-win transaction, right?
Oh yeah. Again, I mean, if you can try to figure out what the main goals are for both parties and see how close you can achieve that. I mean, they may, both sides may not get everything they're wanting for, but if you can find a middle ground, it works. So, like you said, if you could kick the can down the road a little bit for the seller, because the main questions to the seller are going to be, if you don't need all the profit from the sale of this property, how much can you hold and for how long? Those three questions,
Right.
once those are answered, you can kind of now know the base information to try to start structuring the financing, see how those payments apply against the mortgage payment. And then numbers don't lie. It's pretty simple after that.
Yeah, and again, I love the fact you brought this up. This has to be a conversation with the seller, preferably
100%.
face to face,
Yes.
because they're really investing in you, right? They know they have a problem.
Right.
They know they can't sell it for the price they need
Right.
as a normal deal.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to get creative. The
Oh yeah,
90% CLTV is the most creative loan product out there, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. I think that having that meaningful conversation with the decision maker is so important because sometimes if you're trying to explain this to the listing agent, they may not, comprehend it as
No.
well, and then relay it effectively to the seller. And in some cases, they might have opinions on the scenario or the concept, and then put in their opinions in their, in the discussion. And then now it's like, wait a minute, I think your cloud, too many cooks in the kitchen sometimes mess up the soup because they're not really looking at it
Oh
the right
yeah.
way. So yeah, having
Yeah.
that meaningful conversation with the decision maker or the seller, that's the most important and most helpful
I,
because then
I'd want to go belly to belly. And again, real estate agents out there that this is not their thing. Most people
right,
don't do 90-cent CLTVs. It's definitely a
nobody does.
conversation. Nobody does exactly. Only
Yeah,
my boy Stephen Dow does them.
yes, sir.
What I want people to realize is you don't have to cut out the agent. Just tell the agent they're going to get paid, right? They're going to get their commission because that's what they're most worried about. But
Correct.
in order to have this conversation, and the agent could be there, let the agent ask questions. He is, he or she could be there, but you've really got to walk the seller through it, right? Option A in the environment that I think is coming for these, 5 to 50 unit buildings
Yep.
is foreclosure,
Yep.
right? If you don't sell it, you're going to foreclose.
Right.
I'm going to try to give you an answer where foreclosure is not the option. You're not going to
Right.
get all the money. You're certainly not
Hmm.
going to get all the money now,
Correct.
but you will eventually get more than, you know,
Than what you're asking for now or that you
yeah,
can get right
it's
now. 100%. It's just delaying
yeah,
some of your money. That's really all this is. And so if they can understand that concept, and then some other details too. Obviously, being second position, maybe some sellers like, ooh, I really want to get rich off the second. It's like, well, if you do that, sure, but then now it might not cash flow. Now, why would I want to buy it if it's upside
yeah,
down already from day one? And then now you even being in second position, being upside down every month, you're in higher risk to not get paid. So make sure you understand the big picture, Mr. Seller. I'm going to give you your price, a price that nobody wants to pay right now. So I'll give
yes,
that to you now. No more property taxes, no more homeowners insurance, but I
no
need
more
you to give
headaches, no
me
more
right.
tenants.
And then all we're doing is delaying some of that money, which you still get to keep more of because the lower capital gains hit, the remaining, interest, if there is any on that second, you might make some passive income, whatever the case may be, it's still a win-win. You get to achieve what you want to do, which is sell now at your price. And I get a property that can cash flow from day one, maybe not, but either way, that's the motivation. But yeah, it just takes some more deeper conversations versus just like, hey, what price will you take or stuff like that. So
Yeah, I would
yeah,
imagine most of these conversations are 3 or 4 meaningful conversations. You got to talk about it, educate,
right.
come back,
Plant
ask
the seed a little
questions.
bit, have them kind of do
Yes.
some research, and then
Run some numbers. And
yep,
they also got to respect you because again, they're going to be betting on you, the investor.
correct. No, that whole thing, the belly to belly or belly to belly thing is, I think, is vital because, like you said, they're betting on you. So they don't know you from any. They're playing the role of the bank. So they're kind of having, they have to vet you to some degree to see, okay, how comfortable I feel with this. But once you can kind of get that comfortable feeling, with both parties, I think everything is kind of downhill if everything makes sense for both parties. I've
Yeah.
seen it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get there, again soon. Rates continue to head where they are. Maybe we'll be dropping our rates at some point too. So we can only hope.
There you go. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and ask all these great questions about the 90% CLTV combined loan to value, you are the only game in town for my audience. How would they
Yes.
reach out to you?
Email is always going to be the best. That would be to SDAO or SDAO at velocity the word mortgage spelled out.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT to make it past the firewall. The body of the email, maybe a brief description, what you're looking for. Property address would be very helpful, at least city and state to make sure I lend there. Maybe your mid-FICO score and best phone number to reach you at, and I'll be in touch usually within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I love this. I love this product, the 90% CLTD, 50, 40, 10. What was it? 48, 42. It's
Yeah,
just,
48, 42, 48. Well, getting where you can fit in, where it kind of still
yeah.
makes sense for everybody. You know what I mean? So I've had a lot of interest where, seller initially was like 100% seller financing, but at a, much higher rate. So then now I'm like, hey, well, give him 60% of his money, but negotiate that second to much lower. And I don't know. You never know. There might be some give and take. You can find a middle ground. But yeah, so we got a couple of those in the works. So we'll see. Maybe on the
Blended
next
interest rate,
recording,
all that.
I'll let you
There
know.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Stephen Dow, you're amazing, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, this product, Velocity Mortgage. You're very, very good at what you do, and you've given me loans. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, brother. Have a good weekend.
Yep.